Hello, Aftershoot community, YouTube, Facebook, the whole world. Hi to everyone. While we're kind of waiting and doing all of our clerical stuff to make sure we're set up, feel free to drop a comment. Let us know, I don't know, something interesting. What are you most excited to learn about today? Or where are you checking in from? And I'm going to just verify that we are ready to go. And we're going to check Facebook and make sure that that's happening. So be sure to drop some messages for us. Let's see, Aftershoot community, are we live in the community? We are not live in the community, so we will share it into the community and make it happen. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a really, really special. Yes, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny Guerrero. This is a really special live for us today. So obviously we have some cool things that we're going to show off when it comes to what Katie has in store for us. But I have the amazing Katie Monroe. She's hiding backstage right now, about to bring her out. But we're going to be talking about a lot of really cool concepts that we can all just gain some knowledge from, especially when it comes to growing your business, marketing, and all of those sort of things from what I would say is a master at it. So Katie has done an amazing job growing and scaling her business. And without further ado, I'm just going to bring her on because we're going. Someone's tuning in at 3 a.m. So that's amazing. But without further ado, I want to introduce Katie.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for diving in and giving us such a robust. So I got to sneak peek a little bit of the of the slideshow that we're going to present today, and it's so insightful. And I'm so grateful that you're sharing so much information with us.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. I feel like it's a really pivotal time in our industry, and there's been so many changes with the evolution of AI and how much marketing is changing. And so what worked for some of you guys in 2019, let's not count 2020, 2021, might not work for you anymore. So let's talk about this from a more I just want to go a little bit deeper on some of these topics since scaling is kind of a buzzword right now, and just like dissect it a little bit.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, is that the market totally changed, right? So from 3 or 4 years ago, anything that worked in 2019 is subject to debate today. I mean, whether it actually happens, maybe besides like SEO, because that's always just the way to garner attention. But generally speaking, so much of our marketing efforts have had to adapt and adjust to the new age. And you're a pro at this.
I also, I like to think of myself as a pro at it, but I also work really hard at it. And I put a lot of like time and energy and intention into it. And I think sometimes that gets lost too as photographers, because if you don't have your stuff dialed, you're reeling, you're editing till 2 a.m. on your bed. Like, no, there's just so many ways that we can feel depleted. And so I kind of want to talk about a few things that have worked for me, and not even a few things, but like the foundation that I truly believe is what all of us need to consider really thinking about after today. Just like kind of, okay, let me think about this. Because the industry is changing, because the economy is changing, because AI has opened our world and opened up. We'll go into it deeper, but yeah, anyways.
All right. So I feel like we should just dive in. So I'm going to bring up your presentation because it is a wealth of information, and we'll try and like breeze through it. And, of course, as always, answer questions in the comments. So if you have a question, if you want us to stop and ask something, just shoot us a comment down below. I'll monitor the comments and we will take over.
Awesome. And my goal for this, everybody who's here, is to create an interactive presentation for you. So please drop things in the comments. We can stop and ask questions. Like, this is more about guiding you guys through something that leaves you with actionable, inspiring information where I hope you actually, think about it when we're done today. So let's dive in. Oh, do I have control of the deck?
Sorry, yeah, you're the.
I'm sorry.
All good.
My name is Katie. I'm based an hour north. I started my business in 2008, which by starting my business, I mean shooting a ton of weddings with not a lawyer approved contract and a Canon Rebel. So a long time ago, I was right out of college. And so over the years, I would say the biggest thing that I kind of did early on was I leveraged a team and outsourcing super young and super early on, just knowing that that wasn't going to align with that lifestyle wasn't going to align with my lifestyle. So I did start a team almost 10 years ago. And I was winging it. I'm going to be honest. I was learning. I was also growing, but I knew that I wanted to stay in my zone of genius. I wanted to be shooting all the time. I wanted to be building my portfolio and just like becoming a badass photographer, not just doing all of the millions of other things we have to do to run successful photography businesses, right? So my goal is to talk about some of the core systems that can get forgotten with how noisy social media can get, with how noisy, new trends can get. I kind of want to bring it back today and talk about the basics of what systems do you really need to do, and what is like the first thing you can do to scrape off wasted time so you actually can start implementing a more robust brand strategy, a more robust marketing strategy, things like that. So I will be referencing, I have an online group coaching program. It's called Momentum Method. It's a breakthrough photography business blueprint. And I always talk about editing as the biggest time suck, the biggest the biggest downer, honestly. Once you have your style, you shouldn't be doing that. That can be outsourced to someone else, right? So I kind of think of outsourcing your editing and offboarding, leveraging AI as like the first thing that needs to happen to scale, right? So I'm going to kind of go into that a little bit deeper today, and talk about why I think leveraging AI is just so brilliant, and ways to do it without feeling overwhelmed. Or if you are here and you haven't used Aftershoot, for example, I want to demystify some things. And then also, if you are using it, I want to demystify some things. So I have a wedding and lifestyle brand where my preset has been literally dialed for a very long time because I had a team before AI was a thing. And so when I was creating anchor images in Lightroom, we have thousands and not thousands, hundreds of weddings, but just thousands of shoots in this preset, right? And so when you start feeding that into an AI platform like Aftershoot, you're going to get consistency with that much work behind it, right? And some of you might be thinking like, oh, well, that's stressful. Like I'm toying with a bunch of purchased presets. The best part of starting with this software is you don't have to make those decisions right now. You can literally just use another creator's profile, begin tweaking it, refeed it back in, and create your own beautiful, work with it. But again, if you want to be attracting high value clients, especially, right now in the United States right now, consistency is your best friend. Consistency is going to be what sets you apart in this insanely saturated market. Because if someone lands on say you have a social media thing like go viral, great, right? But if they land on a crappy website with a like uncurated portfolio that is not fine tuned and like speaking to those people, they're not going to reach out to you, and you're going to have lost, opportunity to work with.
Luxury or honestly any niche, right? So whenever you've got that set that's bringing people in, that funnel that's getting people, it could be that one reel that you didn't expect to go viral and it goes viral. But if the people who are watching that reel aren't finding the brand that they're expecting when they get to your website, then it's a fluke, right? They know It's a fluke. It's not who your brand is. Even if at the core it is, you didn't quite convey it the way you needed to. So you really did lose the viral opportunity. And I could say, you never know when you're actually going to go viral. It just
100. Yes. And again, you're never going to know what's shared. There's just so many opportunities you don't know about, even with SEO. I'm going to go into them today. But what I'm getting at is in 2017, I started shooting commercial work, brand photography, because I don't know. My husband and I weren't married yet, but I was seeing a life beyond being just such a crazy working lady, right? I was like, I want to have kids. I want to have more than one kid. Like I just started thinking bigger. And so the preset, my profile with Aftershoot is what I use for all niches, whether it's for a tech company or a wedding. And I love that because what it shows is a really beautiful, timeless, professional, and luxury profile can be totally, what's the word? Kind of interchangeable. And sure, sometimes I bump up the blacks or bump up the contrast in food photography or something like that. But this profile is used for all of my work, and we shoot so many things. I mean, we just are shooting all the time. Yes. I have a team also. So this profile works. I used to be like, oh, you should be Canon if you're going to shoot with me. And with Aftershoot, the profile has been tweaked. It works on my associates with Nikon and it works on our associates with Sony. So our brand and our deliverables stay consistent and we can keep perpetuating that promise to our audience, right? So wanted to touch on that. Not going to go over that. So today I want to talk about scraping away like the noise and talking about actually implementing a six-figure strategy. You're going to notice here, I'm not going to talk about social media today. That is not part of my six-figure strategy. My six-figure strategy is first and foremost sitting down and thinking, all right, I am basically the CEO of this. I'm the lead photographer. I still love photography, but I have to stay in my zone of genius. I have to only be doing the top, right, 5% of what I should be doing. What I used to do when I was burnt out was like I was editing all the time. And so the first thing we did to scale back in the day was hire that team. And I had a studio in Oakland overlooking San Francisco. And we were so old school. It was like, here's the hard drive. Come on over and edit with me. Like, so we were always using Lightroom, but it's so OG when I think about how we would like drive a hard drive to someone's house to be editing a wedding. But it doesn't matter because that's what I did. I was paying someone else to do the editing. I was carefully curating beautiful anchor images with this profile, with my preset. So I knew if they were doing a good job that we were going to get consistent results. Now that we're taking a little bit of the human out of our editing processes with Aftershoot and with AI, I still believe that you need to have a dialed digital organization system so you can like really crank stuff out. And so, oh, great, AI can edit my photos. But like, if you don't know where they are and you don't have a good system, you will easily get overwhelmed with Aftershoot, right? And so we'll talk about this towards the end of the presentation, but I want to talk about like actual some basics that I have found that have really, really helped me utilize Aftershoot down to the nitty gritty. Like we process multiple shoots on the platform at a time, going to the cloud, going to our master desktop drive. Like I want to talk a little bit about that right now, because I also have incorporated humans into how we utilize Aftershoot just to be a second pair of eyes before things are sent to our clients. And so you can do it however you want, but I have found that, leveraging AI is also going to mean if you're really unorganized and if you're really overwhelmed and if you're super burnt out, you still need to step back and be prepared to like create a framework so that you can utilize this software and slay the rest of this year because it's about to be busy. Well, this time of year, right?
Exactly. And I think one of the coolest parts about that, right, is that this framework, right, it's so important to have a beautiful framework, and this is going to set them up for it. And even if you're burnt out and you're crazy and you're behind schedule and all the things, if you can literally just set aside a few hours, right, because what you're about to show, I kind of glanced at it, you could probably initialize this framework in a few hours.
Yes.
And you'll be so much more organized and it'll be so much more easier to track and just keep things in the pipeline. And not be kind of like, when you get burnt out, when you get overwhelmed, it's very easy to lose track of things, right? So you have one client who's like, where are my photos? And then you have another client who's like, where's my album? And this and that. And if you don't have a system in place, you're going to focus on one thing and forget about the other. And then the other person's going to be mad. But if you have the right framework, you can absolutely keep everybody moving through the pipeline at the same time.
And to go off of what you just said, when we have repetition, you guys, in our businesses, like following these systems over and over, you can do that stuff when you're sleep deprived. I have a 6-month-old, believe it or not. I'm so tired, but it doesn't matter because I'm like, for a decade, we've been like, boom, new Lightroom catalog, raw folder, JPEG folder, our initial Lightroom catalog, our zip folder to go to Aftershoot. Like all of the things are all in the same place as they have been in all of the years since I started this doing this. So I just want to encourage you all to take this just to think about, because the way I do it doesn't mean you have to do it this way, but I really encourage people to separate their Lightroom catalogs for each shoot. I find that it will help you organize, and then you're not, what's the word with, when you're adding in photos and exporting from Aftershoot, because it does a little bit better when you actually ingest your cards into the software. If you have this framework in place, you're going to have such a dialed system. So when you only have one Lightroom catalog, it starts to get a little messy. So that's my advice. I'm just going to leave it there because we don't have all day. But really quick, the benefits of exploring AI profiles, not just AI in general, but actually saying, all right, I like that photographer's work. I'm going to try it out. You are going to step out of that time suck burnout cycle role and have more time to devote to your marketing and staying on top of the industry right now, because things are kind of weird. I'm going to be honest. Client management, customer service, like really, really giving your clients your all, and also just your personal life, like hours and hours of time can be given back where you didn't think you could do that. I really believe you can begin to scale pretty immediately because of that time you get back. I'd say on average, our business got back at least 20 hours a week. So if you think of a typical work week in our culture is 40 hours a week, I don't believe that's true for a pro photographer. I think it's more like 60. But that being said, I got time back. And so for me, that's a form of scaling. Time with my family, time to sit on the couch, like relaxed and not like thinking about work. Big. And then also scaling your income. I mean, if you are not worried about editing, think about how much more you can take on. If you're not drained by editing, think about how many more systems you can focus on fine tuning for this winter so you can scale up and like up your prices and price yourself for profit. Just food for thought. Lastly, like let's talk about client experience. I mean, if you have in your contract that you have up to 12 weeks, then under promise and over deliver. Utilize AI to get your galleries out and like to your clients, get reviews while they're hot, get testimonials, get video use this time to bring your business up to the next level. Right. And so this is kind of the way I think about our transition from not having AI in my life to having it. I think about it from exhausted to empowered. So the first step is, learning the basics. The good news is Justin has 1 million videos and you can basically teach yourself. Two, I truly recommend your Lightroom catalogs are separate, and it doesn't mean you have to go back in time, but from this place forward, feel free to email me or DM me. I do have a lesson and a PDF on this I can share with you. I also have a blog post live on the blog right now on how to do this in Aftershoot for you guys to explore. Then you're going to create a folder hierarchy system, which I'm going to show you in the next slide. Finding the right company for your culling and editing needs. We're talking about Aftershoot. I have not found any like software to actually get all of our needs done. Their culling is incredible. I cannot recommend them more highly. And then lastly, you need to test and leverage and repeat and refine with any AI, right? So I'm going to just breeze through the next slides, but I think the first step here when we talk about growth and scaling is the first thing I would say to someone before we knew about AI would be like, well, it's really time to fine tune your style. The best news for those of you who have not done that is that you don't have to like work for 5 more years doing a bunch of free and styled shoots just to like build your portfolio and build a style. You can start exploring them right now. And I kind of go into this in another training I did recently. You can explore that too. Like you can give yourself a budget and say, oh, that was a little dark for me or this. And once you find one that resonates, then you can make it your own. You might want to change some things and tweak it. But the best news is this is an immediate solution to your problem, right? Um, so preparing the back end of your business to leverage AI software, probably I would dedicate a half day to it, like during the week, and then you're set. So I think it's crucial for AI workflows to do this. So I will like give you a visual. I call it a folder hierarchy system. What that means is, we've got our cloud backups with Backblaze. We've got an 18 terabyte drive, whatever. It's like 2024, all the niches that I shoot within the niche, all of the names, and within each shoot, raw, the name of your Lightroom catalog, your exported edit folder, and then um, we always end up if I'm sending something to someone else to view, we will export the catalog with smart previews. So think of it as a hierarchy system, right? Almost like a triangle coming down. So having your pre-structured folders will make your experience with Aftershoot so much easier. So the first thing I do when I get home from a shoot, I pull out those 2 SD cards. I have 2 card readers. I have kind of my main computer, and I have like my processing center up there. So it kind of is like I kind of have it separate because I'm a weirdo like that. But I don't just pop them into Aftershoot. I go to 2024, elopement, Jack and Jill, raw. I have my folders ready so that we can just point Aftershoot to completing the rest of the folders, right? After the culling has been complete, we export there. If you guys have questions on how we use Aftershoot for culling, please feel free. I feel like our system's working so well for me right now. It requires so little of me, and I found my flow with it. So if you guys have questions, feel free to email me. I will answer anything. Okay, so this is just like what it would look like, right? So we just went to a year here, 2022. We have tons of niches we shoot, and in 2022, we shot. The colors are part of our workflow too. I'm not going to go into that. But then here you've got raw, you've got your final edits, their sneak peek and blog post, and then their Lightroom catalog. And then this is their edited catalog, right? So you can get half of that set up before you even ingest your cards into the platform. And then just test, feed the software, refine, test, refine, test. I just say, take the next month while you're shooting a lot. Don't wait to do this until 2025. That's my recommendation. Integrate it now and fine tune, right? So I would say these are the first steps. These are the first steps to streamline and scale your business. Again, even before the first thing is take all of this off your plate. And the best news is it will free up the time because scaling your business requires attention to systems and strategies, and it requires a lot of brain power. It doesn't happen overnight, So great. I freed up 20 hours, but I'm going to just say that whatever that looks like for you guys. So I think that what Justin and I had said is, okay, so what worked in 2019 doesn't work anymore. Well, why? Right? I don't have the answer to that. I don't think that any of us truly know. But what I do know is that our world changed, right? Our world changed in so many ways. And the market has become so crowded, so saturated. And the rise of technology also means the rise of more people going into this. And so that doesn't mean that you can't stand out, but you're going to have to work towards it and have a strategy and a plan. And so I kind of wanted to breeze over how to craft your narrative and implement a deeper brand strategy, because without one, your marketing will not convert. And so when I talk about branding, with all of my photography students in our program, there's so many misconceptions as a photographer about branding. So many people say to me, well, yeah, my brand is really moody. And I'm like, your brand has nothing to do with your profile or your preset. Your brand is about your messaging and like how you welcome people into your digital world and make them feel at home, right? And so I'm going to just dissect branding a little bit because I truly believe that is your ticket. Because once you've done the work and actually done the work, like Google Docs, free writes, journals, whatever works for you to like go a little deeper, that's how you're going to set yourself apart from a bunch of people that are using the same chat GPT one-liners of like, I can't wait to tell your love story. It's like, how many people have said that? We gotta go deeper, right? And
Yep.
no one, and no, and of course I have stuff like that on my website too. But I'm just trying to say, like, when I say go deeper, I mean go deeper with yourself on what are we doing? Like, what's our brand purpose? What's our vision? Like all of it. I oh
Sorry, I'm going to chime in really quick. I have a couple questions on the editing
oh
portion
yeah.
that I think
Mhm.
maybe we can tackle some of those before we get too far in. So Thunderbolt had a really good question. They said, did you keep the editor in your team, or did you give the editor the boot once you took on Aftershoot?
No, she's still with me. So we have completely redefined our workflow incorporating AI. Really good question. Actually, so my editor used to do where we would do anchor images. So say like it was a wedding with, I'm going to make this up, but say it was like 1,000 images. I edited 150 in the quick collection, and then they go through and edit the whole thing. My workflow now, I'm a founder with Aftershoot, so I pay yearly and have unlimited everything, and it's really great. So the first thing I do is cull it, and then I have Aftershoot edit everything, even the images that are duplicates and culled out. Because when I get my hands on that catalog, I want to know that we just have everything cohesive, and then I cull them out in Lightroom. So I do keep all of my raw files. That's a personal choice for me. Mostly because what if someone comes to you a few months later and it was like an awful image on the dance floor or something, but there was not two of them and it was missed. That's my reasoning. I just think with
Yeah,
wedding,
it's
I
a
keep all the raws.
Yeah, it's that I'm the same way. It actually happened to me once where it was, I think maybe 2 or 3 months after the wedding, after they got their images delivered to them, they messaged me and reached back out, and they were like, "Oh, so you have this one photo of the groom and his uncle. His uncle just died unexpectedly in a car accident, and we're,
Exactly.
looking for more images. Anything you got?" So I went in and like I dug up images that were inconsequential, right? They weren't images I would ever deliver, but to them it
Mhm.
meant more because like uncle was just standing there watching something, but he was standing there and it's a photo of him that I was like, yeah, that's not worth it. Because I didn't want to deliver 5,000 images. I wanted to deliver 1,000. So
Totally.
yeah, I always
The
keep
same
it.
thing has happened to me a couple times. Like we had a really big 4-day Indian wedding in 2022 where the client came back and was like a similar situation. Someone was terminally ill and I was like, "You want these?" Her eyes are closed. Yes, they wanted them.
Yeah,
So
thank you so much. Yes.
let me answer your question. So after shoot, we cull, we edit, we export. So then I have this catalog and we use the color code green for our duplicates, purple for eyes closed, and blue for blurry. But I don't do that. From there, I export the entire catalog that's been edited and cold, and I send it to Emily, our main AI integration person. She's gone from per image editing with me to an hourly rate that's super affordable for me because she's aware that I'm leveraging AI. She's totally aware of the situation. She knows that her position has changed. We had a great meeting about it. And lastly, about that, the best news is we have a relationship. She knows my style. And so I'll give a couple examples of when I want a human to go in a little deeper. I'll breeze through. I'll make like 3 edits when we need to use tools like dehaze, like golden hour, or if it's like a really, I'm trying to, if it's like a really cool architecture where it's a grayish white and I want to bump up the whites, like little things that are not in my profile where I want to take it up a notch. I just do that. I make them 5-star and red to flag my editing team of like, oh, okay, we're going to go a little bit deeper on the 80 images from Golden Hour. All right, she's added some grain to this like 1920s style wedding, whatever. So that's how we do it. So then I send the catalog, we use WeTransfer, goes over, boom, hourly. She sends it right back. And every email or every time I get it, it's underscore client ready. So from there, I do the final exports, I do the final upload and the final client delivery. But we're delivering weddings in about 2 to 3 weeks, and we have like 30 a year. So it's really changed our workflow. And I do think having a human is for those of you who are not maybe at that place yet, that's okay. I I don't ever want to edit again. Ever, ever, ever. I have shot so many weddings and done this for so long that I'm in a place where I have a 3-year-old and 6-month-old. And so every time I'm like looking at Lightroom, I'm like, I just want to go be with, there's a way to get out of it. And that's the way I've done it. And I still love having a human be on my team with our after shoot workflow.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's a great use of a human too. So having that,
Yeah.
for me, I think the thing that slows me down still the most is just photoshopping stuff. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like get rid of this and move that or change this, and that's still like that barrier for me where I'm like, I'm still too much involved, and it's but and so Thunderbolt had another question as well, just to kind of double down on the rest of the presentation. Is this 6-figure strategy viable as like a solo photographer? So if you don't have a team, is this something that we can take and adapt?
100%. Again, I only have a team because I all of the things, what I'm trying to, so if it was just you, let's give that example. You're bringing it into the Lightroom and giving it a breeze. Give it some love. You're going to look over it. You're going to make sure that your experience with AI is a reflection of you also being thoughtful. What I don't think we should do as AI becomes such a big part of our world is just throw in the towel and never look at our work. I want you guys to really like, okay, I'm liking that. All right. Once in a while you might have a global adjustment where you bump your shadows on 10 images but I have my team do that because that's where I am in my business. I did not have my team doing that in 2019 even, so I became a mom in 2021 and my whole world became them, right? So much has changed circumstantially for me. But yes, you can do this as a solopreneur. And actually, Thunderbolt, feel free to reach out to me. I have a couple workbooks I can send you on what I'm going to go over today if you're really interested in like going a little bit deeper.
I love that. The next question. Sorry, I'm going to breeze through. There's 2 more questions I just want to get to before, but then I do want to resume because there's so much information. So the next question, which I guess I can handle this one, it says, I tend to create a new catalog each month, but are you suggesting doing it for every single shoot? And that's the flow that you have, Katie. So that you really, and I used to do that as well. So for myself, I was creating new catalogs for every single session. And it was part of that organizational structure where I would have everything kind of running across. So I would know, okay, when I'm going to go edit, Katie's branding session, I would go to that 2024, Katie's branding session or the branding folder, and then Katie's branding session. And then that catalog would be there. So it was a way for me to process it easier. For myself, though, during 2021, I actually pivoted to a quarterly catalog system. There's a lot of drawbacks with a quarterly catalog system. First, you have to be really on top of your organization because you're splitting, it's not individualized. So I can't go find, so-and-so's wedding based off of just going to their folder. I have to know what month that wedding took place and be able to reference back to it in order to make that happen. So if you're organized enough with it, you can absolutely keep like a monthly or quarterly catalog. I personally did it because I was always doing multiple things at the same time. So for me, I was, I may have had, it was 2021 when I implemented that. I had 84 weddings that year. So for me, I had 3 weddings a weekend, multiple weekends in a row. And so I would be doing 3 sets of sneak peeks on Monday. And so going through the process for me of bouncing from catalog to catalog to catalog got a little bit cumbersome, especially if I was like trying to go back and forth from like this catalog to that catalog so I could finish editing here and then sneak peek there and this and that. So for me, it ended up being more beneficial to break it down into a more broader category. So it's not that you have to do it one way or the other, that your system is absolutely super organized. And I would recommend doing that. That's what I did for the first, 12 years of my photography career.
Right.
But
that's also just like more information for everyone here of how you can tailor leveraging AI with whatever you choose to do. And that's why I just recommend like testing, figuring it out. Right. And good questions. Very good questions.
And then the last question is from Allie, and she wants to know, does anyone else not export JPEGs to their hard drive? I use a CloudSpot plugin, and I just don't save JPEGs unless I need to, go and do something. Do you recommend that? I know I have my opinions, but how do you feel about that?
I that's a good question. If you have your raws and you have everything saved, why, whatever. When we export our JPEGs, I do keep them on our master drive. I also I do everything at once. So when we export, I'm going to use a wedding as an example. I'm also exporting our real content. I am keeping JPEGs because we're also, going through and doing our blog post and all of those things. But the other thing that I also do is I export the DNG file selects, and we have a master content catalog of all of our best work also backed up that would be not saving the JPEGs, but I do save them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like to export everything and just have a folder of it.
Yeah.
I do the dumb thing and actually go and export them and then upload them to my gallery service instead of using a plugin. I know a plugin would be better, but I love
I
to
do too, Justin. That's so funny.
I just love having the copy of it, because for me,
Yeah.
I don't know if something happens, whatever it may be. I mean, like let's say your gallery service gets hacked and then everything's gone. You could still go back and connect your raws and export and do it. You could make it work. But
Totally.
for me, I'd rather just say, hey, I've already got them all in one spot anyways. But also I still deliver USB drives. So I want to be able to.
That's amazing. I didn't stop until recently, but I will piggyback on what he's saying. Just as much as I don't trust hard drives, spinning drives, old school drives, I also don't only trust the cloud. So I like to have both. I live in Sonoma County. It's an hour north of San Francisco. We've experienced so many fires too, where I'm like, I need a physical backup in multiple places. I need this. So I'm on the tip of saying do both. That's my recommendation if I were to really give one, to be extra safe. Again, extra safe.
Love it. And then actually there was one more question that just popped up that I think is super relevant. And then I promise we're going to go into marketing. This leads us right in. So how do you manage the marketing content versus what you deliver? High Degree Media is saying, currently I'm creating 2 different folders and have duplicate pictures on the hard drive. So like one that's going to be like the stuff they market with, and one that's, do you have an organization system for that, or?
Yeah. So many years ago, a really close mentor friend of mine was like, well, JPEGs are the worst because they cannot evolve with you, right? As a photographer, JPEGs are capturing 496 shades of color, DNGs, thousands, right? So what I do is first of all, I do export our marketing content with SEO titles like luxury San Francisco wedding photographer as the title of our images for our blog and for whatever we're going to use. So all we need to do is plug in like alt tags when we do them. But further, I go into our highlights reel that we send clients, like our sneak peeks, our best of the best, and I export those into another folder hierarchy system that goes from 2013, that's when I started doing it, all the way to 2024. And it's our DNGs from each shoot, but not all of the raws. So from a wedding, you're looking at like 300 to 500 for our really good weddings that we want to go back to, but most of the time, like 100 images from each shoot. And so we have a rolling master content catalog that is all of my DNGs, where I've been able to, from that day, feed all of it to AI and have everything aligned and brought up to speed. My work used to be actually a lot lighter, and it's evolved over time. So I hope that's not confusing. But yes, within delivering to the client, I'm also thinking, let's be done with this shoot now. What do we need to do? Like, let's export everything we need, back it up, and have it in the cloud and on our drive.
Yeah, I use collections for that inside of Lightroom. So for my marketing stuff, which I don't market much anymore, but my marketing stuff, that's what I would do, as I would flag them, and then I would create a collection with just those flagged images from that wedding. So I could say, okay, I'm going to make a reel. And I also do it for portfolio images. So like stuff that I'd like to put on the website eventually, I have a separate one for that. So then they get their own collection. And then I will export them separately to a different folder. So as I'm editing and reviewing my images, I'm like, okay, flag that one because that should go on the website. Flag 100%. That one because that's going in a reel, and then export it to a separate folder later.
And that's basically what I do. Guys, I use the quick collection. The shortcut is B, so it's super easy. That's another way I integrate humans in with AI. So when my team is going through and they're just going quick through, they're going B, 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 and they're kind of creating a story and creating our highlights reel. From there, say it's like 200 photos. From there, you're going to get another collection under that that's website, and under that's going to be social media.
Love it.
Okay, great questions.
I
And
know. All right, branding.
all right, great. All right, I know we don't have a ton of time. I'm going to go kind of fast, and I'm going to skip and really try to get the nuts and bullets here, because again, I'm the tips to remember before I start. The industry's changed, so what you did, you can't expect different results if you keep doing the same things over and over again. So cultivating a brand strategy is what comes before you're creating marketing that actually is going to work for you guys. So to give you a visual, when customers trust your brand, they're more likely to invest. How do we build trust as human beings? Consistency and predictability. Oh, wow. Okay. And it happens subconsciously a lot with branding. Your tone, your style, your visual elements, all of that. So if we were to look at, how we, manage leads in our actual funnel as artists and photographers, the first stage is to attract and draw in the right people. And that starts with your brand strategy, driving traffic, branding and marketing, I guess. But then through your marketing, engaging with your audience, blog, social media, networking, all of that is your interaction. But first you need to attract, and that comes with your brand. So if I'm going too fast, please interrupt. Please ask questions. Okay. I'm going to kind of breeze through this. Hopefully there's a recording. But okay, great. So as photographers, let's really step into that role as photographers, what we do. What comes to your mind? What do? You do so much more than take photos, and that is your brand. You've really got to think about it from, I think, a deeper level. So I want to identify misconceptions about branding and dismantle those false beliefs in our industry before we move on. So I think the biggest mistakes photographers make with brand strategy is they just think it's visual. Your colors, your logo, all of those things, those are part of your branding for sure. But the bottom line is branding is all about communication, how you communicate about, your offerings, how you communicate about taking care of your clients, how you communicate about the guidance and process you're going to lead them through. Because at the end of the day, they're not just paying for like a service. A service is like getting your car washed, right? A photography journey with someone is an experience. And that is what I'm trying to convey to people, that if you haven't really thought about these things, now's a great time to, start thinking about it. So the other thing is, what I see is most people think the main reason to take it seriously is just to look professional. And like, okay, I rebranded and it looks so good. And that's not why. We want you to communicate to the audience that you want to hire you, right? And so some people might really feel like they have imposter syndrome around this. Well, fake it till you make, you've really got to like own it and get it, use people like me, use the Aftershoot community, but like own it and go with it, because brands have a tone, they have a feel. It's like your vibe, right? And lastly, photographers tend to over identify with their photography style as their brand, when really it's a really small part of it. So again, branding as a communication tool.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but I just have, there's an amazing friend of mine who literally his website has lots of F words and lots of like GIFs and different things, and that speaks to his client, because he's the type of photographer who goes out and swears at his clients and has fun with them, but that's who he's trying to go for. So going for that like luxury brand, or focusing on like that, I'm a film looking photographer, and trying to create that bohemian vibe on the website wouldn't fit, even though his work is kind of bohemian, right? It's got that feel to it. But his clients are really, they get to his landing page and they're like, oh, Gossip Girl, I'm in, right? So like having that connection that your clients, when they get to you, find is huge.
Yep. And like, I could go into this in depth, but like our ideal clients are professionals. They are young professionals, mostly in tech, mostly in San Francisco, and they are busy. So my ideal client wants to be taken care of from the moment they pay their retainer to the moment their photos are delivered. And that's a huge part of my brand messaging with Create Photography, our wedding brand. And if you were to go to my website right now, you'd be like, oh, I see what she's saying. Right. And of course, the colors, all of that kind of evoke a feel, but it's really coming down to like our copy and the way we speak and communicate. So again, loaded, huge topic. So I'm going to break this down into kind of the three main points to just think about and then kind of move on. So the three main points I want you guys to understand to begin cultivating an authentic brand and feel in your business, in your photography business, and begin attracting the clients you actually want to work with versus the people that are just like skimming for your price sheet are number one and huge, genuine connection. You need to understand what it is you want to communicate to people. So if you're just talking about your photography, nobody cares. They want to hear more. They want to hear how you're going to solve their problems and help them feel comfortable, and like that her arms aren't going to look fat, like 1 million things, right? So think about that. And you want these ideal clients to feel an immediate connection to your business. So the first phase of that too is figuring out who you want to work with. And I'm not saying this is going to happen overnight, but these strategies really do work. Next is dialing in that core message. Your branding needs to be driven by a core message over and over again that allows these people to keep finding you and show them that they're in the right place. The marketing you take from all this is what's going to draw people back in. And then lastly, like a long-term plan. A brand strategy is a long-term plan developed to help your business achieve certain goals. So what does it look like for you? Genuinely, what does it look like? Do you have a 9 to 5? Is this a side hustle? Do you want to leave that job? Are you a full-time photographer making 50K a year and like really wanting to hit 6 figures? Like, how are you going to get there? And what's the long-term plan? Do you want to keep going? Right? What's it going to look like? But furthermore, it can be really exciting. Like brand consistency is a key part of your strategy. And by continuing to repeat and move forward with it, it can totally evolve. But just keep in mind consistency and connection. So setting an intentional foundation to attract high value clients that you love. High value meaning they value your time, they value your work, and they value the experience, not just the service. So authentic branding is going to say that to them. It has something meaningful to say. It showcases, what you're about, what your business is about, what your values are. And then ultimately what all that does is it shows people who it's for. So even if you've only shot for 2 years, it doesn't mean you cannot attract luxury clients. Your brand is the foundation of that. And I have to add this in. I didn't think about this, but I also want to stress how important it is that we are always working towards our creative goals and gathering that. Like, I'll give an example of what I mean by that really quick. I had years when I lived in Oakland and San Francisco where I was really bummed out that I wasn't getting more gay weddings and more mixed race weddings. And like, I was like, what? I've shot like 400 weddings. Why am I? Oh, well, when you went to my portfolio, what did you see? Right. And so I had to look at myself and be like, just because I'm a pro doesn't mean that I get to just like get everything I want. And so I reached out. I reached out to other communities and I offered some free sessions. I offered some like beautiful San Francisco couple sessions. So I got that on my website because I was not attracting the clients I wanted. I want a really diverse portfolio and I have it now. And I worked for it. And I had a point in my career where we had been in business for over 10 years and I had to do that. So just as a reminder, there's constant artistic evolution and constant pivoting and work to be done to continue drawing in what you want to, because ultimately I value diversity and inclusivity. So why I need my business to reflect that. And that's part of our brand. And it's really a great example. So remember that no matter what, high pricing, things like that, you still got to work.
Absolutely. It's not,
right?
it's not a catch-all. And
Exactly.
it's funny you mentioned that because I actually, my my portfolio online was a lot of just couples of all body types. And so I had people coming to me and saying, "You're the first photographer that we found whose portfolio wasn't just like a bunch of skinny, beautiful model looking people, but like real people. Like I looked at
Right.
your photos and I saw myself in my wedding dress at that venue. I saw what I was going to look like and I booked you." Right. And like, that's the
That's
thing.
awesome.
They're visual at the same time. If you only have one, type of person on your website or type of couple, you're only going to get that type of couple. So if you don't really diversify and make sure that your branding also shows entirely inclusivity and
Yep.
different body types and shapes and ethnicities and everything, you'll also struggle to book outside of what's on your website.
And thank you for saying that, Justin. That is exactly what I'm trying to get to you guys. Like, if you're stuck in only booking like hetero white wine country weddings, like you got to think. And when I say doing the work, that's what I mean. It's like, okay, well, I'm booked out for 2024, but I have time to do some Thursday XYZ shoots to bring it up or whatever. And the moment I did all that, then our audience was even bigger. Then we were speaking to even more people. And it was just, and made me feel good. It made me feel like, okay, our business is aligned with what I care about in the world also. So we're getting to some really juicy marketing stuff. So here we go. You're doing all of this branding work, right? And you're thinking, well, but why? Well, because all of this is going to go onto your website, in your voice on social media, in your voice on your blog. I mean, the list goes on with whatever channels you're using. And oops. So again, that trickles down. So to cultivate authentic marketing that connects with them, you do need to be able to communicate the key pillars of your brand. So why the work you do is valuable. Telling someone you're valuable does work, but it has to be done strategically. How you'll add value to their lives, what you believe in and what you stand for, your style, tone, and vibe. I think there is a way to do all of this and keep your audience really large. So just some food for thought. So your brand pillars, what I kind of like to think about, and I'll just throw this out there because it's so much info, but like your brand vision, like where you want to be in the future, your purpose, how you solve people's problems, your mission, right? Actually having a mission statement can be really powerful because you can use it over and over and over again. We have it as our closing slide on all the reels we make. I have it all over my website. And for my wedding and lifestyle brand, our mission statement is, if I can remember it, we build, oh God, I'd need to pick up my website right now. But it's a very short, and it's about creating connection and experience with people with honest photos, basically, in a nutshell, and said better. But my point being that repetition and the kind of consistency do help build trust too. So your brand pillars, this is how Justin and I wanted to talk about, attracting high level clients. So your brand this is the building blocks that's going to guide your business decisions and shape your marketing messages and help create an emotional connection with potential clients that are great for your company. And so your brand is what is going to define the things that set you apart. And that is what I'm talking about in 2024. That's what you need to be focusing on, is what is setting you apart from the other thousands, hundreds. I mean, we live in the Bay Area. It's insane how many new photographers came out of the pandemic where I live. So I don't know about you guys, but I just have to touch on, demystifying branding, basically. So in competitive industries like ours, brands are essential to grow your company awareness. And again, it's a point of connection and communication. I'm going to skip that and move on. So we've scraped away our editing. We've freed up tons of time. We're using AI. We've dove in. Your brand, it's evolving, but you feel good about it. I even recommend doing a Pinterest board or kind of going there and going a little deeper. And then the foundation for your marketing. So you all know this. The foundation is building an engaging website and portfolio that showcases who your brands are for. Social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of it All of that should be used to getting people back to your website and into your digital world and into your funnel, essentially into your emails and into your CRM, right? So the foundation for your marketing is your digital storefront. The key to successful lead gen is consistency, authenticity, and providing value to your audience. So keeping those things in mind. So I just want to, I'm going to breeze over SEO, but it's like Justin said in the beginning of this live, it's still a thing.
It's not going anywhere.
Not
SEO,
going anywhere.
it's
Matters.
always going to be a thing. And I actually just filmed a podcast with someone on this, and the thing I asked, or the thing I said, was like, the first thing your ideal client is going to do when they, generally speaking, when they're going to
Yes.
a photographer, is open up something that's going to rely on SEO to tell them who the best photographer in the area is.
And I'm going to piggyback on you. And the first usual thing they're going to type in is their geographical location.
Yep.
So you could put luxury photographer all over your website and it won't do shit for you, period. Like, it has to be connected. So SEO totally works. I'm a freak about it also. So again, if you want to email me, I have an SEO for photographers guide I can send you to. But SEO, and again, that's a really nuanced topic, but it matters. And it matters beyond coding in the back end. I use Squarespace, but it matters in your headlines and things like that. You know, Katie is a luxury wedding photographer in the San Francisco Bay Area or in Sonoma or in Napa. All those things do matter. But really the main pieces here, brand presence is huge. Imagine someone scrolling on Instagram, like obsessed with something, and then they head to your link in bio and they head to a crappy website that's not in alignment. They're not going to reach out to you. So branding, right? And then your portfolio. And I want to go into your portfolio. I'm going to go into that, but I want to go into a quick statistic about your website. So we are living in the most like ADD, like scrolling culture ever right now. People's, what's it called? Our attention spans are really bad right now, like with social media and being on our phones. And so when people land on your website, I am going to just, I'm going back. Sorry. When people land on your website, one of the statistics I love is that 52 seconds is the average amount of time that people actually stay on a website. So you got to be real careful, guys. You've got to have it so dialed and ready if you want to convert them. And so when you're building out your portfolio, it's fine if you have 200 photos in it, but really focus in Lightroom when you're organizing. Really focus on your top 20 to 30 images at the top, because a lot of people don't even make it below the fold with your portfolio. And then your homepage. Your homepage is so much more important than you think. Your homepage, think about it like this. It's a mini sales page. So we want to learn how to create homepages that convert. And so I use this formula. If you want to take a quick screenshot, I would. But essentially, if you go to any of my websites, I have a coaching website, a wedding website, and a branding website. They all use the same kind of like formula, and they're very, very long with 1 million CTAs, call to actions. And so the goal is, I'm going to just keep scrolling down this homepage. Oh, okay, great. There's this. And you want like little galleries on there. And so I find that it is incredible. We have a really good conversion rate. So your homepage on your website is super important. Then you can put equal amounts of love and attention into your about page and everything, but just remember that your homepage matters. CTAs also don't need to just be to get in touch with you. It can be like explore our portfolio, explore our associate team, whatever. But keeping them on there is going to give you a higher probability of them reaching out and making it insanely easy to reach out to you. Okay. I am going to skip over the 3 E's, but essentially I was going to talk about when we create content on our website and for our brand and our marketing. I like to follow the rule with our team called the 3 E's. So every piece of content you create should educate, excite, or engage your target audience. I'm just going to have you screenshot this, but it's already 11. So I'm going to keep moving on.
Good. I have an extra few minutes too, so we can.
I'm gonna try to wrap it up. I just want to get to one other big piece, and so I'm just gonna skip over to a couple really important pieces about your portfolio, because that's why you guys are here. Like, using Aftershoot means you're creating and fine tuning your style and or have it dialed. But a high quality, diverse portfolio is critical. Like, it's just absolutely so critical. And sometimes I have photographers come into my world that are like, I don't get it. Like, why can't I break into it, like the $10,000 market for weddings? And I'm like, looking at their portfolio, I'm like, there's like 8 pictures of the same bride on one part. They're all edited differently. Like, that's just not going to fly. Hate to break it to you. So we've got under a minute to sell yourself and encourage a lead, in which they're probably going to hit your homepage and your portfolio, right? And so it's such little time. So are you curating an experience for your target audience? Are your images resized properly so it loads really fast and doesn't bum anyone out and like be all glitchy? And then also, is your portfolio consistent in style and thoughtfully curated? This is huge. People are going to immediately, subconsciously, like a wedding, for example, want to see that you can handle low light, bright light, uh, big people, small people, black people, white people. So having all that in 30 images is really hard to do, but I highly recommend it, right? So I'm going to skip it. And so here's my portfolio framework I want you guys to keep in mind. The top row up here is like weddings, and down here is the same framework used for branding and commercial work. But first, your ideal target audience is in your mind. Your presentation of everything is absolutely dialed. There's consistency in your edit, in style, right? So they see, oh, okay, there's like, even with a warm, a golden hour image and a regular image, the skin tones are flowing together in a gallery grid. Variety, but with cohesion. You want variety, like we talked about, but you still want your work to feel cohesive. That's what a portfolio is all together, right? Emotion and impact, even if it's not one of like your favorite images, remember that you're pulling on people's heartstrings, right? So images that are going to go, oh my God, you know. Thoughtful curation. How are you putting things together? All of that's going to be done in Lightroom as well. Editing consistency and technical excellence. If you're not there yet, that's another reason I recommend AI profiles. You're going to achieve that consistency and technical excellence. And then lastly, SEO, tech, and CTAs within your section are really important. And then I guide you through. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's important to just bring it up too. As photographers, we get really attached to work, right? It's very, very easy for us to have known how challenging an image was to create, and we get really proud of that image. But your clients don't know how hard that was to create. Your
Right.
prospective clients, they don't care about that. You have to be, that portfolio has to focus on those things that your prospective client can perceive, so they can open it up and
Right.
say, just like you said, emotion. You pull out the heartstrings, right? Consistency, diversity, all of these different factors. But it shouldn't just be, and I made this mistake a lot early on, where I was like, oh, this is the best photo, it's lit so good, and like off
Yeah.
flash and this and that, and at the end of the day, it didn't help my clients want to book me more, because they didn't see themselves or see what I was seeing. They just saw,
Totally.
oh wow, that's a different looking image.
Totally. And I think what we all do, because we're human, is we fall in love with certain clients and we really connect with certain clients. And then we have this like emotional connection. So another big recommendation I have, when you start getting that technical excellence piece down, have a pro photographer review your portfolio, you know, email me. I'm happy to help you. Like those type, I have my portfolio reviewed because I'm an emotional being. I get so like, oh, in love with people, you know, and I really like having outside people kind of critique it. It doesn't mean you have to apply everything. I'm going to make a couple more points and then wrap up. I don't think we're going to hit everything, but I'm going to get a couple more points so you guys know what I mean about variety with cohesion. So down here, I mean, all of these companies are super different. This is a vape company. This is a healthcare line. This is a personal trainer. This is a TP rental in Northern California. This is a breast cancer lingerie line. This is a creative collective, right? But I think if you look at the editing, you'll see they flow together, even though all of them are super different. And that's how high-end brands, high-end clients are going to be able to envision themselves in your work as well. Oh, wow, she's predictable because her work is so consistent, you know? Um, I'm not going to go in. I have a whole other slide prepped for this, but knowing your target audience, consistency and style, and technical excellence were the three I wanted to really stress to all of you guys. I even have a picture of our Lightroom showing our 5-star, like really getting everything so dialed together. I don't think I have time to go into this today, but I was going to speak about lead generation, networking and referrals, strategic partnerships, and then move into systems that scale. But I think what I'll do, I don't know if there's a way I can export the slide deck and share it, and I can put it on Facebook if that works. Justin, what do you
Yeah,
think?
I think that would be awesome. So here, let me I'll unshare you now, and then that way we can have our combo over here, one on one.
Yeah,
And we'll try and answer one or two questions if there is any. But yeah, we can get that exported, and we'll put it into the chat so people can kind of
perfect.
continue on, because there's so much information. What did I say at the beginning? There's so much
I
information.
know.
Uh,
I struggle with that consolidating stuff.
well,
So
so it was such useful information. But I saw Lindsay had a question here, Lindsay Hoyt. And I think this is such an awesome question. It says, my clients have only been people I know personally, marketing only on social media thus far. How do you break through that initial barrier to attract clients outside of your circle? I'm not yet profitable enough to support a website. Now, she commented that right before we went to the website slide. But there are, I mean, from my perspective, I was just going to say there are free website creators.
yeah.
Like that. My business, I think for the first 3 or 4 years, I ran on a free WordPress
Mhm.
site. It was like WordPress.com/Jay Benson Photography or something. But it was a website that just helped me generate that vision and
Yeah.
that need to book me.
That is a really good point. I did the same thing, and I don't remember the platform form, but I do remember it was pretty ugly. Like I remember being like, I'm really ready to invest in my website. I You need a website. We're
Yep.
photographers and you need a website. And even if that sounds and feels overwhelming, I want you to email me seriously, because I can just send you a formula and I can even help you find a free platform.
Yeah.
That is it. And if it's free, it's going to be like, uh, johnnyphotography.blank.com, and that's fine. Who cares? But you need a website that you have to build trust to book clients, and social media is just not enough.
Yeah. And that was actually, so for my wedding photography business, that's how I started. Same way. It was just people I knew. I booked one wedding through one person. I did their engagement session. I was marketing on social media, put it on the blog website thing that I had, the free website. And through that, a friend of a friend reached out and said, okay, I'm getting married. What's your deal? And I sent them to my website where they got that information and those sort of things, where it was enough for them to say, okay, let's meet and talk again.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you'll eventually break that barrier, right? There's clients out there. It's just you have to cross that threshold. But a website, it's even if it's free, a website is a really important tool, just because you want to send them to somewhere professional. I see lots of Facebook only photography brands that don't have websites they just show up for whatever reason in my feed, and they don't have a website, and they aren't in business anymore, because there is no way for them to get clients to entrust them with their images. So I would definitely, yeah, website is very important.
And again, you own your website. You don't own your social media handles. They could close tomorrow and it would all be gone.
Yep, absolutely. And then I have two more questions that I would love to answer before we go. So the first one, again, Thunderbolt, killer questions. Has the reports of decline in the amount of clients allegedly due to less people getting married affected your marketing strategy?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
We're doing fine.
Yeah.
And I say that with kind of like, wow, I'm really grateful. No, and I will be very honest. I rebranded both of my companies this year. We went live last week, Create Photography, and I had done it in 2020. And I thought I need to practice what I preach. We need to dive in. And I was like, after my kids went to bed every night, like my branding, candles, like I really take this stuff seriously. And I also rebranded our other companies. I think that you got to think, who are you talking to? You've got to stand out. And so, no, it hasn't affected us. And I'm really grateful.
Yeah,
I,
no, that's amazing. I mean, for me, I'm taking on less weddings just because
yeah.
is growing and there's things to do. But really, up until this month, like I 100% stopped marketing as of a year and 2 months ago, and just this month is the first time that I've noticed any significant dip. So if you just keep working at it and just keep marketing, the marketing strategies I had present from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, still worked up until this month when now I'm just not. If you look at my social media, I'm like trying not to post weddings so people don't book me, right? Like
That so much.
yeah. So you get to that point where, but if your marketing efforts are functioning, you will have to make some small changes, right? You're always bound to a little bit of flexibility, but even with less couples getting married, if you're finding the couples, that's your first problem, right? If you're
Yeah.
able to solve that problem of will people that want to hire me find me, then you're good to go, because you should, in theory, be that one who's leading the way, and they build that connection and they feel that through the website right away and book you. So you wouldn't have to change a ton from there.
I have
Um,
one teeny
yeah,
piece of advice, Thunderbolt. So my recommendation, something that's really helped us stay where we are, is dedicating at least an hour a week to your actual website, going in, making sure the SEO titles of your blog, like actually giving your website more attention than social media right now, I think is helping photographers, because the algorithm's not in your control, but we know these other strategies that work. And so I'm not saying don't do social media, but going back to the basics, I think, is really important right now.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, people will book weddings through social media for sure. It's bound to happen, but also the amount of people who just punch into Google, like think about anything that you do on on your phone when you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I really want to get this. I really want to get family photos. You don't go to social media and say, where are the family photographers on social media? You usually go to Google or Bing or whatever, and they all rely on the same general strategies for SEO. And you type
Exactly.
in, your area family photographer, and the first one or two to pop up are the ones that are going to get booked. So if you put in that long-term strategy, it definitely, it's resilient.
It's resilient. And the first thing that I do, if people DM me, I'm like, get off this platform. The first thing I do is I send them a link via DM to get into a lead capture form, where I'm like, you're in Dubsado. Gotcha. Like you're in our workflow. We can talk more about workflows maybe another time, because that's my other huge piece, is like, once you've got your lead gen, you've got to have a full dialed epic lead nurturing workflow in place. Half the time people put in their form that their budget for photography is $5,000. I don't believe them. And they end up booking a $10,000 package. So you got to think about.
That's my next question.
That.
So our last question, and then we'll let everyone go. And I appreciate you all for hanging in there, because I know many of you are still here. So Thunderbolt's next question. I just love
I
saying
love
Thunderbolt.
it.
Thunderbolt, you're a champ. It says, do you show packages or prices on consultation first to figure out the scope and then discuss price? Like, are they getting an automatic like pricing sheet as soon as they inquire?
Absolutely not. And I do not put my pricing on my website either. My workflow is lead comes in, bounce back immediately. I try to respond to all leads within 2 hours while they're hot. And then I call to action to get on a call. The call is always with me, even if it's with booking an associate. And I guide them through an experience, and we talk about money at the very end. And in their budget, if it's really low, I don't always get on a call. Like I don't get on a call with everybody. So that's one piece. And I sell them on me, my services, my company, how we're going to make their lives freaking epic. And It's going to be a flawless experience, how we're going to be in each other's life for X amount of time. And I get emotional even with our brand clients because they're like looking to scale their businesses, blah, blah, blah. And then I have an email template called Follow Up Magic. It's long, it's amazing, continues guiding them through. I have 10 sample shoots. I like it's for the people that are really warm. And then I include my pricing folio and any custom proposals I need to do. And I always offer them something to entice them to book. So like taking an hour off and being able to add it on later, or like ways to do it. But at the end of the day, like by then I've walked them through an experience, and our pricing folio is so psychologically designed to lure them in even more. And so they get like a slide deck that's like stunning, and it's 7 pages of what sets us apart before they even see the first price point, which is like $8,000. And our average booking price is, around, I don't have an average right now, but like it's not low. And so it's not super high either. I'm not in the like 20K range, but 10, 12, those kinds of things. And these are people that are telling me they don't have a budget for it. And then often I get an email back like, hey, my parents so generously offered to support, or we really want to work with you. We can really see ourselves. So I think putting pricing on your website is going to, especially for luxury, not the way to go. You have to show them you're going to give them a luxury experience before you present luxury prices.
Yeah, for me, the initial inquiry, if they're just saying, hey, what's your pricing? I'm going to just send them pricing, because that I already know they're not looking for anything else. But if they have any other question or any other information or details on there, I know, don't send them the pricing. Get them on the call and talk to them, and then you upsell them on it, and all the psychological and strategy, like getting them to say yes a lot and all of the things to just essentially, but at the end of it, they should be getting off that call. If they only had a $1,500 budget and you charge $6,000, they should be getting off that call and saying, I got to figure out how to come up with $6,000 because
exactly. And they will. That's the other thing. And that's where we need to work on mindset and imposter syndrome and all that crap that can get in the way. Because once that noise is gone and you own it, you'll feel really good.
Absolutely. Well, Katie, this was incredible. We didn't even scratch the surface on the things we needed to do. So we're gonna wrap up. We have to talk about your profile at least just like 30 seconds, because your profile just launched in the marketplace. Sorry. I've been using it. It's amazing. I'll go export some photos and share them into the Facebook group later today. And then, go try it. So obviously it's a free trial, and we have special offers, and it's worth the buy. So it's a really cool look. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about where the look comes from and what it looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. The profile, again, I went over on like wanting it to be versatile, but it comes because I also used to shoot film. And as much as I love film, I also like a punchy, like something to kind of hold on to. So I like a little contrast. I like some color, but I don't like bright greens and bright this. I hate green, by the way, guys. So the green is desaturated in the profile. Not green, not all greens. I'm talking about like grass and like lime green. But the other reason, the profile is also going to give your skin tones a really beautiful, balanced feel. I wanted to go for like warm without being too warm. When you see a photo and you're like, oh, it's like orange. Like I really feel like this is a really balanced, elegant, timeless profile. Where you can even put your own tweaks into it to make it your own. And so it comes from having shot in film. I also get very frustrated as a photographer when I have to use different presets for black and white and color. So this profile is amazing in that you can just duplicate and make it black and white. I do bring highlights down in my black and whites, but it's super ready for you to just like use and start cranking things out.
Yeah, that's my workflow is make a duplicate and then boom.
Same.
It's really, and the way you described it is perfect, right? Because it's just from using it, like it feels film-ish, but it's not film, right? So it's not like it's not something that's so far in a direction that I feel like, oh, it's going to date itself. It's got that very timeless look. The skin tones are really nice. And you say the greens are desaturated, but realistically, they're still there, which
They're still there.
it's
That's
not
the other
like
thing.
shifting it way over. Like, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes the film looks, they go like way off the deep end and the grass is blue now. But this is very much so just a modified green. So just that it makes it hurt a little bit less.
Photographers that are here, one of my main selling points on sales calls with clients is to future pace and say, okay, so 20 years from now, 10 years from now, like wherever you are in your life, this image collection is going to be timeless and so beautiful, and not something where a trendy Instagram filter was slapped onto it where their skin is green and, you know, where you're like, I hate these. And so I think that's why I love this profile and why I edit 100% of my work with it, is because I trust and believe that in a decade, it's still going to be beautiful.
Yeah. So I actually just shared my screen real quick just to kind of show it off because you just have to go use
Ooh.
it. But I love, like, this is what I was talking about with those greens. It's just perfect. It's got such perfect tones and everything. And what I really love is, like you said, I just duplicated it, right? So this is just a
Right.
duplicate. All I did is click on black and white, and it's a perfect
It's
black and
so
white.
pretty.
Yeah.
And
So
and her skin is beautiful. It's not too pink and not too green.
yeah,
That's like my big.
I just love the look. It's got such a perfect romantic look and so consistent. Yeah, it's just really, it's just a beautiful one. And
It's so fun to see
I just love
editing style on other people's photography.
it.
So
Absolutely. So
amazing.
yeah, definitely go check out that profile because it's incredible. And then we're gonna have to just resume this conversation
Yeah,
another day because
we'll
there's
just
too much.
resume. I don't know, Justin, if you can just drop in the chat. You guys feel free to email me. I will send you this slide deck and a couple other freebies too, and a link to the profile to try it out. And this was so fun.
Yes, I love it. Katie, thank you so much for your time. I'm
Thanks,
so
Justin.
excited. Everyone go try the profile and then post some images in the
Yeah,
Facebook.
I want to
Wanna
see. I
see.
want to see your beautiful work with it, you guys. So thanks for being here.
I love it. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you all on the next one.
All right. Bye. See you.